And today is the first chapter of Chronicles, the first book of Chronicles. Adam, Sheth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalaleel, Mahalaleel, Jared, Henoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. The sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Haelah, and Sabta, and Rama, and Sebtecha. And the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be mighty upon the earth. And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lebhabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Kasluhim, of whom came the Philistines, and Kaphthorim. And Canaan begat Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusite also, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, the sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Meshech, and Arphaxad begat Shelah, and Shelah begat Eber, and unto Eber was born two sons. The name of the one was Phaleg, because in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad, and Shelef, and Hazarma. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to continue reading these names. And the sons of Midian, and Ephah, and Ephra, and Enoch, and this seems like some kind of a bloodline or some kind of generations. These are their generations, the firstborns of Ishmael, the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. So it's the bloodlines of these people, whoever they are. But it's not like they're the only people in the world. So I'm trying to understand what's the importance of these bloodlines and the sons of Anna and Dishon and the sons of Dishon. Like, it seems like they're keeping track of their ancestors, but why is it in the Bible? So these are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. What is the significance? The sons of Judah, Er and Onam and Shelah, which three were born into him of a daughter of Shusha, Canaan, and Judah was evil in the sight of the Lord, and he slew him. And Tamar his daughter-in-law bare him Pharez, and all the sons of Judah were five, like the sons of Hezron that were born by God. So it's just whose sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail, and the sons of Zeruiah. Like, why is this important? And that person begat that person. They had like 20 wives back then, and the families of the scribes which dwelt at Jabez, the Tirathite, and Shimeites, and Suchathites. These are the Kenites that came to Hamath, the father of the house of Rishad. Now these were the sons of David, which were born unto him in Hebron. The fifth Abdi, the sixth. These six were born in Hebron. So this is how it seems like they're keeping track of like who's related to who and where maybe all their monies go, because it seems like they slew a lot of people and they killed a lot of people, like David. These were their cities unto the reign of David. So yeah, there was a lot of killing and kings, and in the previous books, reading Numbers and Deuteronomy and Judges and Samuel. It's just a lot of killing. At least there's no killing here. They're just talking about whose son is who and whose daughter and mother. And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria. And they went to the entrance of Gedor, even unto the east side of the valley, to seek pasture for their flocks. And they found fat pasture and good, and the land was wide and quiet and peaceable, for they of Ham had dwelt there of old. And these written by name came in the days of Hazael, king of Judah, and smote their tents and habitations, and were found there, and destroyed them utterly unto this day. What? And dwelt in their rooms, because there was pasture there for their flocks. So it seems like some of these people just like to terrorize. And some of them, even for the sons of Simeon, 500 men went to Mount Seir, having for their captains the sons of Ish. And they smote the rest of the Amalekites that were escaped, and dwelt there unto this day. So they keep killing people. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, and he defied his father's bed. His birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the sons of Israel, and just amazed how much talk of Israel there is in this book of God, of the Holy Bible. And it's talking about the Israelites and their families and who married who and did what? Um, very. It's very eye-opening and yet unintriguing. However, the sons I say of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, were Hanok and Pu. Like, why do we? Why is there names in the Bible? It has no significance at all except to maybe keep track or legitimize something. Where the only thing I see here is half the tribe of Manasseh dwelt in the land, and they increased their Bachem unto Baal, her mom, and unto the mount. And these were the heads of the house of their fathers. And so it's like almost like a mafia, and they transgressed against the God of their fathers and went a whoring after the gods of people of the land, whom God destroyed before them. And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto the Hala and Abba, and the river goes on unto this day. The sons of Levi, Gershon, and the sons of children of Amram, and so Eleazar begat Phinehas. Phinehas begat okay. The sons of Mary and the sons. Okay, so this Chronicles seems like it's just it's almost like numbers where they just keep track of the sons of whoever, and they're basically trying to track back to royalty, but there is no royalty or loyalty here. The only thing they're loyal to is gold and money. Like, after all, Solomon did create the golden altar and the golden house of the Lord. I don't know what the significance of the gold is, but it seems like they like a lot of it. So we will go on with Chronicles when it starts making sense again. And also the towns thereof unto Gaza and the towns thereof. So it seems like they've always had a thing with Gaza and the so-called Philistines. So they've written about it, and it continues till this day. That is intriguing. Well, we'll try to continue off where it starts to make sense again. We'll try to make sense of things on the next. It says, now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishu and the sons of Saul. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was wounded of the archers. Then said Saul to his armor bearer, Draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor would not, for he was sore afraid. So Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor saw that Saul was dead, and fell likewise on the sword and died. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and all his house died together. And when all the men of Israel that were in the valley saw that they fled, and Saul and his sons were dead, then they forsook their cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. There's some context there, and we'll continue at Chronicles chapter 10:9 tomorrow.